Hello there. If you were to take a map of Europe and place your finger right in its very heart, you'd likely be pointing at Switzerland. It's a country that seems almost impossibly picturesque, as if it were dreamt up by a landscape painter with a particular fondness for drama. It's a place where colossal mountains, their peaks perpetually dusted with brilliant white snow, pierce the sky with an almost stern authority. These aren't just hills, you see. They are the Alps, a formidable spine of rock and ice that has shaped not only the land but the very character of the people who call it home. It's a land of breathtaking contrasts, where one moment you are gazing up at the jagged Eiger, and the next you are strolling along the serene palm-fringed shores of Lake Geneva. This extraordinary geography is the opening chapter of the Swiss story. Imagine the sheer force required to create such a place. Immense glaciers, like nature's own bulldozers, carved out deep U-shaped valleys over countless millennia. They left behind a legacy of over 1,500 glistening lakes, each one a mirror reflecting the sky and the surrounding peaks. Long before Switzerland was known for its watches, chocolate, these dramatic valleys were home to various ancient tribes. Imagine peering back through the mists of time, perhaps 2,500 years ago, to a land inhabited by Celtic peoples. The most prominent of these were the Helvetii. These were hardy folk, living a life dictated by the seasons and the challenging terrain. They were skilled farmers and fierce warriors living in fortified settlements known as oppida. They left behind traces of their existence in the form of intricate metalwork, pottery, and the names of places that still dot the Swiss map. Then, as it did across so much of Europe, the world changed with the arrival of the Romans. In 58 BC, Julius Caesar and his formidable legions marched into the region. The Helvetii, who had attempted to migrate into Gaul, were decisively defeated at the Battle of Breathtaking and pushed back into their homeland. Under Roman influence, the region known as Helvetia began to flourish in a different way. The Romans, ever the master builders and administrators, brought with them a sense of order and infrastructure that was entirely new to the Alpine world. They were organized, they were efficient, and they certainly knew how to build a straight road, even when a mountain was in the way. Aventicum, near modern-day Aventus, became a bustling capital with an amphitheatre, temples, and grand public baths. The Roman legacy faded, but it was not erased. It was simply absorbed into a new, emerging identity. After the fall of Rome, the lands of present-day Switzerland fell under the sway of various European nobles and empires, most notably the Holy Roman Empire. For centuries, life was dominated by powerful local lords and distant emperors, particularly the Habsburgs of Austria. The people of these valleys had a different idea about how things should be run. They managed their own affairs and weren't keen on foreign lords telling them what to do. Tension boiled over in the late 13th century. The story is dramatic and centers on the forest cantons of Uri, Schweiz, Unterwalden, small communities around Lake Lucerne, Ouse painting. It was a crisp summer's night in the year 1291. Under the stars, they swore a solemn oath of mutual defense, promising to stand together against any outside power threatening their freedom and ancient rights. This pact, the Federal Charter of 1291, is widely regarded as Switzerland's founding document. It captures the early Swiss Confederation, a defensive alliance of equals, bound not by a king or emperor but by shared self-determination. Over decades and centuries, nearby cities and regions seeing the benefits joined: Lucerne, Zurich, Bern. The Declaration of Independence made in 1291, but defending it was quite another. The powerful Habsburgs were not at all pleased with this rebellious alliance and were determined to bring the defiant cantons back under their control. One of the most famous was the Battle of Morgarten in 1315. A small force of Swiss foot soldiers armed with long pikes and deadly halberds ambushed a much larger, heavily armored army of Habsburg knights. Using their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage, they inflicted a stunning defeat on the invaders. This victory was a tremendous boost to the young Confederation's morale and reputation. It was followed by other decisive wins, such as the Battle of Sempach in 1386. It is here that the legend of Arnold von Winkelried was born. Winkelried cried out, "I will make a way for you," and threw himself onto the enemy pikes, his sacrifice creating a gap and allowing the Swiss to win the day. These military successes earned the Swiss a formidable reputation across Europe. Their soldiers became highly sought after as mercenaries. Thousands served foreign crowns, even the Pope, and the Pontifical Swiss Guard remains a living link to that era. However, a devastating defeat at the Battle of Marignano in 1515 marked a turning point. The Swiss suffered immense casualties and began to question the wisdom of entanglement in great power politics. This bloody experience planted the seeds for a new direction, a gradual retreat from foreign adventures and a turn toward neutrality. That principle, neutrality, would come to define Switzerland. The ultimate test of this neutrality came in the 20th century with two world wars. During World War I, Switzerland found itself a neutral island in a sea of conflict. The nation was tense. German-speaking Swiss often sympathized with the Central Powers, French-speaking Swiss with the Allies. The country mobilized its army and heavily fortified its borders. During World War II, the challenge was even greater. Switzerland was completely encircled by Axis-controlled territory. Under General Henry Guisan, the country prepared the National Redoubt, a plan to retreat into an almost impenetrable fortress in the Alps. They mined bridges and tunnels, ready to deny access at a moment's notice, a grim but practical defense. Combined with complex diplomacy, economic dealings, and a measure of luck, Switzerland maintained its independence through the war. It was a tightrope walk of epic proportions. In the aftermath of World War II, while much of Europe lay in ruins, Switzerland stood intact. Its neutrality had preserved infrastructure, industries, and financial stability. Swiss banks became synonymous with security and discretion, attracting capital from around the world. Switzerland transformed from farming and mercenaries into a global leader in finance, technology, and high-value manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, cheese, chocolate, and unparalleled precision in everything from watches to medical devices. Politically, Switzerland is unique, stable, decentralized, with a strong tradition of direct democracy. Through frequent referendums, ordinary citizens can challenge laws and propose constitutional changes. Power is highly decentralized across 26 cantons and thousands of communes, a system born of the Confederation's origins. Yet the country also plays an outsized role internationally. Geneva hosts UN agencies, and the Red Cross was founded here by Henry Dunant. Today, Switzerland ranks among the best places to live. Excellent public services, punctual transport, and stunning natural beauty. It balances tradition with innovation, folk festivals one day, global tech and diplomacy the next. Walk Bern's cobbled streets, take a boat on Lake Lucerne, or hike in the shadow of the Matterhorn. Every castle, museum and mountain pass has a story. History here is living, visible in cantonal pride, local festivals and the Landsgemeinde spirit of civic assembly. The country that began as a pact between three small mountain communities has become peaceful, prosperous, multilingual and influential, a testament to freedom, cooperation and determination. Switzerland's epic history is an open invitation to explore, to learn and to be inspired. If you enjoyed this journey, there's plenty more to discover. Join our community for more fascinating stories. Like and subscribe for more adventures.